Hello dear students, welcome back again to Chinmoy's Biology channel. So today we are here with a brand new episode of Health and Hygiene. So in the previous episode we have just gone through the introduction of health and we have spoken about certain diseases. So today let us start with a new episode and let us see what we are having in store today. So what are the learning objectives of today's lesson? At the end of this lesson, we will be knowing that what are vectors. We will be knowing how we can prevent ourselves from diseases. We will have a clear idea about immunity and immune system. And we will know what is vaccination. We will also know that what is vaccine. And we will be knowing about immunization and its basic principles. So without further delay, let's get started. And before that, I will request you to subscribe to my channel so that whenever I'm posting the lessons, you'll get the update and you'll know that the continuation of the lesson has been updated. And as the continuation of the lesson has been updated, you will go through it properly. So please do share it with your friends and don't forget to write comment in the comment box. Please subscribe, stay tuned, stay updated. Now let's get started. Now, what is a vector? First, we should know what is a vector. So, vector is an organism that carries pathogens from a source of infection to the healthy individual without getting infected. So, this vector is an organism which will not get infected itself, but it will carry the disease or the infection from the infected person, that is from the source of the infection to the healthy individual without getting affected itself. Now, what are the examples of vectors like mosquitoes, houseflies, ticks, mites, as well as mammals such as rats and dogs are vectors that spread dangerous infections. So, these are all the vectors which are spreading dangerous infection and they are carrying the infection from the infected individual to the healthy person. Now here we are having certain vector-borne diseases. Now let us start with malaria. So malaria, the vector is Anopheles mosquito. So the vector here is Anopheles mosquito. We know that the pathogen is Plasmodium. So we have already spoken about the symptoms and the effects in the previous episode where we have studied about what is health and hygiene. So go through that. I'll put the link in the description box and in the I link above also. So I'll not repeat that full. So you'll have to go to that video and just learn that. So dengue is caused by Aedes mosquito. This is the vector. Yellow fever is caused by Aedes mosquito. Amoebic dysentery is caused by housefly. Now here this is the Plasmodium, the Aedes mosquito. It is the pathogen here is DENV. Now in this yellow fever, it is caused by the yellow fever virus. So here the pathogen is yellow fever virus. In amoebic dysentery, as the name suggests, if we can say that it is entamoeba protozoon. The pathogen here is entamoeba. It is a protozoon. Now next comes the sleeping sickness. Sleeping sickness is a protozoon which is a trypanosoma protozoon and it is the vector is CC fly and the pathogen is trypanosoma. Now comes filariasis. It is caused by Culex mosquito and the pathogen is Wuchereria bancrofti. Okay, it is Wuchereria bancrofti. Next comes plague. It is the vector is rat flea and it is caused by the Yersinia pestis bacteria. It is caused by Yersinia pestis bacteria. So it is a bacteria. And then comes the rabies, which is it is carried by the saliva of the infected animals like dogs. And it is a rhabdovirus. It is a rhabdovirus is the pathogen. Is it clear? It is a pathogen. And we can say that rabies is also called hydrophobia. Person having rabies will be very much, they will fear water. So hydrophobia means they will fearing water. So there are attacks in nervous system which leads to mental depression, convulsions, spasms and at last paralysis. Okay, so let us move on to the next one now. Now, how can we prevent ourselves from diseases? Now, for preventing ourselves from diseases, we should maintain personal and community hygiene. We should avoid unhealthy habits and lifestyle. We should get vaccinated. So, vaccination is an additional way of boosting the immunity against specific diseases such as chickenpox, hepatitis, polio, and so on. So, we should maintain a healthy habit. Unhealthy habit should be avoided and vaccination is an additional way for preventing the diseases. We all are vaccinated at some stage when we were young. So vaccination is very important for boosting the immunity. Now, general methods of preventing communicable diseases, that is why we can, by preventing exposure to infectious diseases. So what we all can do, we should not go near to that person who is having that infection. To prevent airborne infections, we should live in healthy and hygienic environment. Now, waterborne infections are also there, right? So we should drink pure water, clean water, purified water. And to prevent vector-borne infection, what we were discussing today. So for preventing vector-borne infection, what we can do, we should keep our surroundings clean, and we should not allow the diseases vectors to flourish there, right? So by providing proper nutrition and proper sufficient food, how by proper food only our immune system will be strong. It is dependent on the nutrients of the body. So we should make with sufficient food, we should strengthen our immune system. So immune system should be strong, so it should be strong. We should strengthen our immune system by food. So sufficient food, it help us to build our immune system, and the eating proper and sufficient food is very much essential for preventing disease, because the types of nutrients the body receives should be very much proper. Okay, now let us move on to the next one. Now, what is the natural defense and immunity? So, what is natural defense and immunity? Now, although they're in air, in food, in water, there are several types of pathogens that can enter our body. But always we are not falling ill, right? So, this is because our body is having certain natural defenses. So, they are preventing us to protect ourselves from these diseases. So, air, food, and water around us, we know it is full of pathogens that are entering our body, but we do not fall ill always, as we have several natural defenses such as skin, white blood cells, and mucus to ward off these infections. So they are protecting ourselves from the natural these natural defenses are protecting ourselves from the diseases. So let us see what are these first line of defense, that is the body has a special defense system, and which is called the immune system. So this first line of system which is protecting ourselves from these diseases are immune system. Now, what is immunity? So immunity is the body's ability to recognize and resist a specific infection or toxin by releasing antibodies against it. So here if we see this diagram, we can see that there is a body's first line of defense. Like there are some physical barriers like skin, mucous membrane, and also what the skin is doing, it is not allowing all the germs to enter our body. It is acting as a protective covering, so preventing the body from various diseases. Then comes the mucous membrane. So what the mucous membrane is doing, in the nasal passage also there are mucous membranes. So mucus secretion is there, so it is not allowing the dust and the particles to enter full respiratory system. It is stuck there. So these are the chemical barriers like mucus, lysozyme, keratin, melanin, and all, which are present in the skin and the mucous lining. And there is a bacterial barrier also. So the immunity, what is it? It is the ability of the body to recognize and resist a specific infection or toxin by releasing antibodies against it. So what are antibodies? What are these antibodies? These antibodies are proteins in the blood plasma. These are what? These are the proteins in the blood plasma. So these are proteins in the blood plasma. So which, when the foreign body is attacking, they enter our body, and these antibodies are created to prevent or to fight with those antigens or the foreign particles. So this is how the body's immune system works. Now the immunity provided by a person towards a particular disease may be short term or permanent. So immunity to some bacterial diseases such as diphtheria and typhoid, they last only for few years, right? So they are lasting only for few years, and the immunity lost once their antibody disappears from the blood. So immunity to some bacterial diseases, they will be staying for some time, for only a few years, till the antibodies are lasting in their body. Is it clear? But once the antibodies is not there, it will disappear naturally from the blood. Then you should give and you should inject the booster dose, or vaccination is required at that stage to give immunity to that person again. So what is a vaccine? So vaccine is made, it is a biological preparation which is made by weakened or killed forms of the disease causing microorganisms. So these virus, these bacteria, they are weakened and killed, heat killed, and they are made in a vaccine form, and they're injected to a body to improve the immunity to a particular disease. As they are heat killed or they are weakened, they don't cause any problem to our body. So in case of this coronavirus also, you know that vaccines were made and everyone was given a booster dose. First one dose of vaccine, then a second dose of vaccine, that is booster dose, so that our body or our blood remembers that antibody and it keeps on working against that virus. Is it clear? So recently we have gone through this pandemic state, and we know that how these vaccines worked. So if we were not vaccinated, probably many more people would have died in this coronavirus. Now, this vaccination is the administration of the weakened or killed pathogen to stimulate the immune system to develop resistance against the pathogen. So, the body has become resistant against the pathogen. If the pathogen is infecting again and again, the body's antibody will work hard to fight against it. So, a vaccine can be injected or taken orally. So, when a body is fighting against that disease, it will not allow that disease to kill you. Rather, it will stay strong and keep on fighting until it comes out of that disease state. Okay. Now, what is happening when the vaccines are injected in the body? The vaccines, they trigger the immune system. So, they are triggering the immune system and they are producing antibodies, right? So, they are producing antibodies against certain specific diseases against which they have been made, right? So, they are causing, they are against the specific disease causing microbes. Now, the antibodies, they are attacking and destroying the microbes, and they destroy the weakened microbes and they remain in blood to fight off the possible attack by the pathogen in future. So they are staying in the blood for quite a long time to attack against the pathogen in future. Right, so in this way the body is developing immunity against a particular disease. So thus we can say that the antibodies are staying in the blood for a long period of time after the disease is over also, so that when the second attack comes, they can protect against these attack, or they can fight against these attack. Okay, is it clear to all? So vaccines are generally given to children between the ages of the 6 weeks to 10 years against the common infections like diphtheria, whooping cough, tetanus, polio, measles, and mumps, rubella, chickenpox, and meningitis. So this is the general age limit. From 6 weeks to 10 years, they are vaccinated. Now, what is immunization? So immunization is a process by which the person is made resistant or immune against a particular disease by administering a vaccine. Okay, so by the process of vaccination only, we are immunizing a person. So it is a process of making that person immune or resistant to that particular disease by administering a vaccine. Now, a vaccine stimulates the immune system of the body and to protect it from subsequent infections in the future. So, a vaccine is always stimulating the immune system of the body to protect it from the subsequent infections in the future. Now, what are the basic principles of immunization? So, there are basic principles of immunization. What are they? Now, if the pathogen enters the body, the immune system will recognize it and responds to it. So, suppose a disease or a pathogen is entering a body, as the body has always has been immunized or vaccinated previously, so it will recognize it, it will respond to it. Now, for each type of pathogen, the immune system produces specific cells. So, these all you will be studying in higher classes. It's out of scope for 8th standard, so I'm not teaching. And there are specific for particular pathogen. These cells attack the pathogens entering the body. Now, what will happen if the same pathogen or its close relative enters the body? The immune system recognizes it and responds with vigor. So, the immune system is recognizing it. The immune system is responding with vigor. So, it is eliminating the second or subsequent infection, or even more, we can say that after the first infection, he will not get the second infection as it has eliminated the second infection. So this cycle goes on each time the pathogen inserts the body, and we can say that the body has been immunized properly, and it is recognizing the pathogen and responding against it, producing antibodies against it, and fighting constantly. So the body is not falling sick against this pathogen. Now here is a very basic question for you all for homework. So write two differences between vaccination and immunization. So this is all for today's episode. I have completed most part of your health and hygiene. In the next part we are having a few basic things to cover up, so about cleanliness and all. So that is very easy topic. So for that you need to subscribe to my channel to know more regarding this lesson, as well as many upcoming lessons which are yet to be covered for your, as per your ICSE curriculum. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to share it with all your friends who are studying in your class, and please do share it with students of 8th, 9th and 10th and 7th if you are having friends, because I am teaching from 7th to 10th. So stay tuned, stay updated, and share it as much as you can with your friends or your known people who are studying in 9th, 10th as well as in 7th. So thank you.